we're going to get the show started. So, for everyone, this is the first of many, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Conscious Coin Podcast. This podcast is where we're going to break the cycle of hustle culture and learn how to build lasting wealth with intention, clarity, and peace of mind. I'm going to not only just talk about money, but I'm going to discuss the mindset behind money. I'm your host, your financial BFF T. Jones, and my mission here is simple: help you build wealth on purpose by upgrading your beliefs and behaviors that drive every financial decision that you make. And today, for the first episode, we're discussing some of the biggest financial choices you'll ever make that doesn't involve a single dollar. That's right, no budgets, no credit scores, no investment talk, because before the money shows up in your life, there are deeper choices that have to be made. We're going to discuss those invisible choices that shape your wealth. The ones that do not show up on your bank statement, but echo through every money move you'll ever make for the rest of your life. And that's your habits, your environment, and those that you choose to love. So the first thing that we're going to discuss, and there's four topics we're going to discuss, but the first one is the relationship decision. Let's start with one of the most important non-monetary financial choices you'll ever make, and that's who you commit your life to. When you think about it, your spouse or your long-term partner becomes your co-CEO in life. Their habits, their mindset, their spending pattern, and their values. Those things will either align with your long-term vision or cause you financial chaos. For example, I have a friend who is disciplined financially, saves, invests, all of it. The woman he married had a habit of emotional spending, didn't want to discuss money. In 5 years, they were so deep in debt, the emotional toll was just as heavy as the financial toll. And they end up getting a divorce. Love matters, but so does alignment. So when you're looking at a person as a potential life mate, one of the main questions you should ask yourself is, do we see money the same way? Can we talk about hard things, hard financial subjects, without blaming each other? Are we building a shared future, or are we just surviving today? Those things are very important because statistics will show financial infidelity is one of the main reasons of divorce in this country today. So, my final thought on relationships and the relationship decision when you decide to make someone your life mate. When it comes to building your financial sustainability, the person you choose to build with matters as much as the plan that you choose to follow. I'm going to say that again. The person you choose to build your life with matters as much as the financial plan you are choosing to follow. Alignment in values, discipline, and communication lays the foundation for every financial decision that follows. Money isn't the challenge. How two people approach it together determines the outcome. Financial trust, shared goals, and open dialogue creates the environment where wealth can grow. Your future is shaped just as much by who you build with as how you manage that money. A healthy partnership is rooted in shared values, clear communication, and mutual accountability. It's not love alone that sustains growth, it's alignment. And when both partners treat money As a tool for purpose and progress, stability becomes the natural result. At the end of the day, your financial future isn't just about numbers, it's about alignment. The person you choose can multiply your progress or magnify your problems. When two people share the same vision, speak the same financial language, and move with the same discipline, money stops being a source of stress and becomes a tool of freedom. I'll say this again: love matters, but alignment sustains. So before you merge your money, make sure you merge your mindset first, because real wealth isn't built alone, it's built together with trust, purpose, and a shared direction. So now we've talked about who you share your life, who you share your time in your life with. So now let's talk about how you spend your time. And that's a financial decision in disguise. How you spend your time is one of the biggest wealth indicators that nobody talks about. And the reason why is because time is non renewable. But yet, there are people who will spend years wasting time, working at a job that drains them, doing a side hustle that will get them nowhere, just so they can pay bills. While they sacrifice their health, some people sacrifice relationships, but definitely sacrifice your peace. So let me ask you a question. And this is a question that you need to ask yourself. Does your job build upon your growth? Are you learning job skills that will help you start a business? What is your job doing for you besides giving you a bi-weekly or monthly paycheck? And if the question is nothing, then it is incumbent upon you to find a job that does. Because anyone who has ever retired or left a job will tell you once they leave, all they do is find somebody else younger to replace you. You have to get something out your job besides a Rolex watch once you don't work there for 25, 30 years. If anyone has ever had the misfortune of having a coworker pass away, they will tell you all they do is find somebody else to do the job and no job goes on. Make sure your job, your skill, whatever it may be, is building upon you to make you a better person tomorrow by giving you what you need today. Another thing I want you to do is understand, are they that's all you make? I thought you made more. That's not somebody you can celebrate. That's celebrating your wins. Also, do people in your circle challenge you to be better? Do they talk to you and say, "What are you doing? You are so gifted. Why aren't you doing more with what you can?" Or they just letting you stay where you're at? Because the unfortunate, the unpopular truth is that a lot of people want to be in rooms where they're the smartest person in the room and they can stand on top of everybody else because it feeds their ego. But here's the problem with that room. That room is full of mediocre and below average people. Does your circle challenge you to be better than who you are? And lastly, who in your circle you can talk to about financial decisions, about credit, budgeting, starting a business without feeling like you're talking above their head? I had some friends. I had some friends. The minute I start talking to them about, hey man, so who's saving for retirement? I get crickets. But if I ask them, did they hear what happened to the latest celebrity? Oh Lord, oh, they can tell me everything I need to know. They can tell me everything. I don't want to hear about the latest celebrity, but they can't tell me nothing about starting a business or building my credit score. Simple things like that. So now let's flip it. Who in your group drains you financially? And you know what I mean. Every time y'all go out, you got to buy their lunch. Ooh, can you get me today? I'm doing bad. I'll get you back. I'll cash app you back tomorrow. Then why you come out with us? How about that person that when you talking to them on the phone and they drain you so emotionally, they take away your peace so bad that when you get off the phone, you want to find somebody to fight. How about that person? Do you have a person like that in your group? Or do you have a person that you are aware of, may not be in your group, but you're aware of, that as soon as they come and say, hey girl, how you doing? The energy level in the group goes down from 10 to 2. They just steal all the energy out the group because they are a walking tragedy story waiting to happen. How about another person that's always in a lot of groups? The person that resists change. The minute you say, hey girls, or the fellas, say, man, what y'all think about building this? Why we got to do all that? What you mean? I'm talking about building a business. Well, I mean, we could just chill. The person that you have to shrink your vision to keep them included in your group. Now, again, if you got people like that in your group, you need to audit them. Now, this is not judging. I'm not trying to tell you to judge your friends. I'm telling you to filter them for alignment. Because if you're not aligning your financial goals, you will not be financially successful or sustainable. So now we talked about what you should be asking yourself about your group. Now, how about you be the friend that you're looking for? See, if you're looking to attract growth-minded people, won't you become the first one? Be the listener to the friends who don't minimize dreams. Be the builder who shares without arrogance. Be the friend who just jumps up and say, hey, I'm working on a budget. Let's review this and see if we can make this work together. Hey, you got a goal? Let's strategize something. Be that friend. Because, and understand this, aligned relationships are not found, they're cultivated. They're created and they're built through time. I'm going to give a parting thought on this, and then we're going to jump to the next subject. As the old folks would say, show me your circle, and I'll show you your future. If you sitting down in a group of 4 of your closest friends, and they're all clowns, then when somebody on the outside look at your entire circle, they see the circus. Your circle is either reinforcing your financial chaos or they're reinforcing your financial clarity. Your environment is one of the most overlooked assets in wealth building because the people around you, whether you realize it or not, quietly influence how you think, how you act, and how far you will go in life. If your circle normalizes overspending, complaining, oh, we ain't making money because of this, or they just normalize staying stuck, that mindset starts to feel comfortable. But if you surround yourself with people who talk about goals, growth, investments, that becomes your new normal. And know this, Success leaves clues. There is nothing about success that's a mystery. Nothing I'm going to tell you today is brand new. It's just researched. And most of the clues that success will leave are found in the habits and the standards of the people closest to you. So, just like your calendar, treat your relationships like it's a portfolio. Review them, rebalance them, invest wisely. Because wealth isn't just about income, it's also about influence. And who you allow to influence you will always shape the wealth that you build. So now we're going to move. So we've talked about how you spend your time. We've talked about your personal relationships or the person that you're going to spend your time with. And we have talked about the circle of friends that influence your time. So we've talked about everything we've talked about is something that has to be done. Now we're going to talk about the person in the mirror, the person that's staring back at you when you stare in the mirror. We're going to talk about the mind, we're going to talk about the body, and we're going to talk about the soul or your character. So when we discuss the mind, I am talking about your relationship with information. In today's world, today's society with the internet and everything that goes on with it, we live in a world that is absolutely flooded with information, but unfortunately, starving for wisdom. You would get somebody to come tell you, oh, did you know that a tomato is a fruit? And then when they bring you a fruit basket with grapes and bananas, all of a sudden they got a tomato in it. I'm like, I know it's a fruit. You should have the wisdom not to put it in a fruit basket. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying flooded with information, starving for wisdom. But here's a question. What is your relationship with information? How do you filter it? How do you trust it? And how you act on it? That will decide how financially stable you really become. A lot of y'all don't have a money problem. You got an information problem. You're getting 20 opinions from TikTok from a lady with a bonnet on her head. You getting 10 strategies from YouTube from a dude who's smoking a blunt and pants hanging at his knees telling you that the government has secret accounts in your name. And you got 5 podcasts telling you 5 different things. Not this one though. This is telling you the good stuff, but you know what I'm talking about. But then you wonder why you're confused. The reason why is because that's financial noise. And noise does not build wealth. It builds distraction. Listen, information is only important when it turns into action. You don't get financially free by collecting tips and tricks. You get free by the simple, proven things over and over and again. And what are they? Budget your money, save your money, and invest with patience. No, that don't sound like what TikTok talk about. Of course it don't, because it's not sexy. But guess what? It works every time. Knowledge without action is entertainment. And people are broke because they're educated beyond their obedience. So I know somebody's probably saying, well, T, what do you mean educated beyond their obedience? What I'm saying is, you know so much, but you're not disciplined enough to act on any of it. So let me give you an example. And this is a funny story. I'm talking to a young man some time back, and we're talking about credit scores and credit and things you could do to raise your credit score. And I'm talking about taking care of, unpaid bills, whatever the case may be. He was like, yeah, if you want to raise your credit score, all you got to do is be a co-signer on somebody else's account. And I looked at him and I was like, that's not that easy, but please continue on. I just want to see where you go with this. He was like, yeah, all you got to do is talk to a family member or something and let them let them put you on their account as a co-signer, and that's going to raise your credit score up like that. And I was like, yes, but no. Who's just going to put you on their account? So, but I'm letting them talk, and I say, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question, young man. What's your credit score? Since you're trying to drop this hot knowledge like it's the best thing going. He said, oh, well, I'm working on mine right now. I'm 605. I was like, oh, okay. Well, hey, it was nice talking to you. You have a good day. He's trying to tell me something that he doesn't fully understand. Financial sustainability is not about how much you know. It's about how much truth you're willing to live by. Wisdom does not come from an algorithm. It comes from application and accountability. You don't need another headline. You need a financial habit. So start protecting your attention like it's currency, because it is. Be careful who you listen to, what you read, and where you get your facts from. When someone tell you some information about, whatever, and there's tons of information out there, and 85% of it is really useless, or it has to be tied to something else before you get to that point. Fact check that information. Don't just take it and then run with it. And for the love of God, don't share it with other people like you're the smartest person in the room, like you sitting on top of a mountain with your legs crossed and you floating above the ground. Validate the information that you have, that it is factual and that it is completed what you understand before you share it. But darn sure do it before you try to act on it. If the source of information does not align with your values or your goals, quite simply, it doesn't deserve your focus. When your relationship with information matures, your finances will too. As I said before, financial literacy isn't downloaded, it's developed. And when you decide to learn real wisdom instead of pretending to be smart, you begin to unlock your wealth. So while we're talking about that, I'm going to ask the people that's listening to me right now, I'm going to ask, there are 4 types of people out here call themselves spreading information, right? Well, there's 3 of them, and there's just one person you just never want to be around. Don't be one of these 4 types of people. Don't be the dumb genius. And you know who that is. That's the person that knows the answers without even knowing the question or what you was talking about. You know that person, you and a coworker, you and a friend is having a conversation. All that person had to have heard was 2 words, and all of a sudden they in your conversation with answers for stuff you didn't ask. And you sit over here and you looking at them like, we're not talking about that. Oh, well, I thought, and just kind of let them know, you're not our friend for your thinking ability. Please just have a seat and listen. The second person you should never, ever become is the broke person with all the financial answers. Now, I know everybody has one of these people in their lives. That's the person who got a job. They're probably a midnight ballerina or something like that, something that just doesn't make any sense. But can tell you, oh, if you want to build money, all you got to do is this, as they live at their mama house. A person who pays rent cannot tell a person who's paying a mortgage how to manage their money. Sorry, you can't. We in different atmospheres, and we have different types of problems. A person a grown person, 30 years old and older, who still have to live with their parents. Oh, no. We have a different set of problems. You can't tell me about my mortgage. You really can't tell me about my dollar. The third person that I'm gonna tell you right now itches my skin like nails on a chalkboard is the I know person. You talking to them, yeah, I know because if you know better, why aren't you doing better? You have an expert trying to have a conversation with you, and everything they first write them off, yeah, I know because this is what I do. Yeah, I know because this is what I do. And you sitting over there looking at them. Well, if you know, first of all, why you here? Second of all, if you already know, why aren't you doing better? Now, the last person, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you have this person in your group, get them out. Leave them to their own vices because they, one, they'll never grow, but two, they will take you down with them. And that's the oversensitive, defensive person who sees criticism or correction as an attack. Let me share something with you. If you can't be criticized or corrected on things that you do, then you are destined to fail. I don't care who you are. If a person, I have a gentleman in my circle that's like a brother from another mother for me, and he talks to me like, and he tells me what I don't want to hear, even when I don't want it. And he also politely tells me, if you don't like what I said, we could take it out back, and then we're gonna come back and hug each other and get something to drink. And I love him to death for it because he's willing to call me on my nonsense when I have those moments when I'm full of nonsense. But see, the oversensitive defensive person, as soon as you start telling them about something they're doing wrong, they're gonna start calling out what you, well, you know, you do this. It's like, well, this is not the discussion. This is about you right now. But don't waste your time with them because you'll never get through to them. Their defenses are up. They don't believe they can do wrong. They believe somebody did them wrong, and that's why the wrong is right there in front of them. Let them be. When they get tired of being alone, they'll change how they see information. When we talked your mind, body, and soul, we talked about your mind. Now let's talk about your body. And when we talk about your body, we're talking about your health habits. Health, your health and what you do with it is a financial decision. Let's talk about it. First off, do you understand that medical debt is the number one cause of bankruptcy in America today? Your daily choices directly impact your productivity, your energy, and your longevity. Diet, exercise, and rest. Being healthy gives you more time to earn, more time to enjoy what you've earned, and less time at the doctor's office. Let me say this. There's not too many people out here that's perfect in their health. We all have our, transgressions and what we eat or, drink, whatever the case may be. But eating cleaner, exercising, or even going for a walk, those are not financial strategies. But guess what they will do? They will save you thousands in the long run. It makes no sense to build a financial empire and then be bedridden because your health is so bad you can't get out and smell the roses that you created. You have to take care of your health. You have to remind yourself to stay healthy. And you don't have to do a lot. I'm not telling you to be in the gym for 4 or 5 hours a day, but stop eating all the processed and junk food. Go for walks in the evening instead of sitting down watching TV. Exercise. And when I say exercise, again, I'm not talking about going lift the gym, body weight exercises. Do something. If you're moving, you're grooving. Because I guarantee you, if you eat better, you exercise, and you rest, it's going to save you thousands of thousands and thousands of dollars in the long run. Now we talked about your mind. We talked about your body. Now we're going to talk about your soul, or in particular, your character. Your character is what you do or the things that you decide to do when no one is watching. You know, I talk with people day in, day out. People love to talk about their credit scores when they have good credit scores. Oh, I got an 800 credit score. I'm like, oh, nice, 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 nice. Oh, I budget and I save money and I do this. Oh, good, good, good. Oh, I have a side job. I do this. I sell this. I do that. I make this amount of money. That's great. But here's a truth nobody wants to say out loud. And that truth is your money will only go as far as your character can carry it. So let me give you an example. I'm in a training meeting and we all talking about going out to eat. So we all go out to eat as a class. And of course, the waiter comes there, give great service. One of the people in the group writes on the ticket, for the tip, get a better job. One of the girls in the group saw that and asked, it was like, hey, that's rude. And it caught everybody else's attention. And his reply was, well, she said, hey, these are waiters. They only make, whatever, 214, whatever waiters make an hour, whatever the case may be. They live on their tips. His reply was, it ain't my fault they chose a job that don't pay enough to sustain their living. Get a better job. Now, while I agree that you should always find a better job to sustain your living, you don't get to thumb down people who choose whatever living that they choose. That's what I'm talking about, your character. Character is doing what's right even when it's hard, and especially when nobody's watching. Your character is also when you decide to study late at night to become proficient at your profession. Your character is about learning a new skill to become more marketable. Your character is about how you treat people who you really don't need or who does not benefit you in your life. Your financial character, choosing to live on less than you make, even when the person who you make more than seem to always have the nicest new gadget or a nice car, a nice toy, whatever the case may be. Character is choosing delayed gratification over immediate satisfaction. See, financial sustainability isn't just about math, it's about maturity. The numbers only work when your behavior does. If you keep making emotional decisions, blaming systems, or chasing every shiny get rich quick idea that pops up on social media, you're not only going to be broke in spirit, you're going to be broke in your bank account. And no, more money is not the answer. Because I've met people with six-figure incomes that still live paycheck to paycheck. And then the converse, I've met single parents, I've met teachers who make $40,000, $50,000 a year and have quietly built wealth over time. And what's the difference? Their character. They showed up, were polite, they were disciplined, they kept the promises to themselves as well as to others. When you have good character, you don't ever have to be lucky. You have credibility. People trust you. And when people trust you, opportunities will find you. And over time, consistent habits turn into financial freedom. So if you really want sustainability, start with the person in the mirror. Don't ask, stop asking how much I can make. Start asking, can I be trusted with what I already have? Because I'm going to tell you something. Money doesn't change who you are, it reveals it. So if you're financially unstable with $10, you're going to be financially buck wild when I give you a million. Ask yourself, why so many millionaires are stressing? Why so many people that win the lottery end up broke or bankrupt in 5, 6 years? Because they did not correct their mindset before they got the money. If your character is solid, your finances will be too. That's guaranteed. No questions asked. So give you a final thought. When we talk about financial peace, most people think it starts with a budget, but it actually starts before that. It starts in your mind, your body, and your character. Let me say this. If your mind isn't disciplined, your money never will be. If your thoughts are scattered, emotional, and impulsive, your money is going to do the same thing. Financial sustainability starts with mental clarity, with deciding who you want to be and how you want to live before you decide what you want to buy. Your body matters too. If you're exhausted, stressed, living off caffeine and chaos, you will not make wise financial decisions. You can't pour from an empty tank. Your health and your wealth are connected because both requires consistency, boundaries, and self-control. And then, last but definitely not least, is your character. Your character is the foundation of it all. Character is doing what's right even when it's hard. It's keeping your word. It's owning your mistakes. You can't build financial freedom on shortcuts, deceit, and denial. Can't be done. That's a house of cards that will always collapse. So if you take away nothing, take away this. If you want to build lasting wealth, take care of all three. Train your mind to think long term. Protect your body so you have the energy to pursue your purpose and guard your character. Because that's what keeps you trusted, keeps you grounded, and stable when the storm comes. Real financial peace isn't about money, it's about mastery. Master your mind, master your body, master your character, and your finances will follow. So, not to take up your entire Sunday, let me leave you with this. Financial sustainability is not built in your bank account first. It's built in your choices, in your decisions. It's built in your character. It's built in your circle and it's built in your discipline. You cannot win with money if you're losing in your personal relationships. If the person you're building with does not share your values, your habits, or your vision, you two are going in opposite directions. Love without alignment creates struggle. Struggle eats your peace and eats your pockets. Trust me on that one. You cannot build wealth and you would never build wealth if you're wasting time. Every hour you give away to distraction is an hour you steal from your destiny. Treat your time as a portfolio. And every time you say yes to something, that is an investment. So start investing it where it multiplies your growth and not your guilt. Also, you cannot climb financially if your circle keeps you grounded in mediocrity. If they're not talking about progress or purpose or planning, baby, you are in the wrong room. You need people who challenge you, not coddle you. People who celebrate your wins, but are willing to hold you accountable when you slip. Simple and plain. And I'm going to say this again. If you can't build with them, don't chill with them. End the conversation. Stop hanging around people that's going to keep you below average because misery loves company. And trust me when I tell you, the people that are doing that are very miserable. And finally, your mind, your body, and your character. Ladies and gentlemen, that is foundation. You cannot manage wealth with a broken and poor mindset. You can't chase purpose with an exhausted body. And you cannot sustain success with a compromised character. Financial sustainability isn't just about how you handle money, it's about how you handle yourself, your thoughts, your energy, your integrity. Because money, and understand this, money will never change a person. It just exposes who they've always been. So let me say this to you so you'll fully understand. If you want lasting wealth, fix your foundation. Choose a partner with purpose. Protect your time like it's a treasure. Surround yourself with people who want to stretch your vision and master your mind, master your body, and master your character. Because when you live with alignment, discipline, direction, your money will finally start following your mission. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again for spending your Sunday evening with me. This is your financial BFF, T. Jones. And as always, whether it's your thoughts, your actions, or your wallet, just make it make sense. Thank you, and I will see you again.